Talk about my top 10 anticipated movies of 2018 coming up. But first, sponsorship! This video was sponsored by Audible, home to the largest selection of digital audiobooks, including bestsellers, new releases, exclusives, and much more. More on that in a bit, but for now, let's talk about my 10 anticipated movies of 2018. Thing to remember here is they're not in any particular order. I think they're in order of release for the most part anyway, so it's not like the first one I say is 10. There's no 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 to 1 thing. Just going down the air, pick 10 movies. And let's start with the first one. The first one I'm looking forward to is Ready Player One. Directed by Steven Spielberg, based on a book. It tells of a world where you go into a VR world and it's just everything we love as nerds. I watched the trailer, I was like, okay, that's a lot of copyrighted property. The moment I saw the DeLorean pop, I was like, really? The DeLorean? The Time Machine and Back to the Future. For nothing else, I'm curious about this movie. I think it's in good hands with Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg has a way of bringing the magic. Granted, that dude has made some garbage also, but he's made some great stuff. Great stuff that this looks like it harkens back to. Next on the list is The New Mutants. New Mutants looks like something different. It's like the X-Men universe, but horror movie. But you look at mutant powers in X-Men, there are some of those that would be scary. At this point, we've seen the superhero thing. It's like every studio that has superhero properties are trying to find a different way to go about it. Like they were like, let's go full horror movie here. I think that's a smart way to do it, an interesting way to do it. It's a direction I didn't expect anyone to take with the X-Men property and the mutants thing. And as much as every time I do a list like this, I'm always like, all right, let's try to minimize the whole MCU comic book movie thing. But comic book movies are definitely on here. MCU movies, there are a couple I'm looking forward to. Hi, I'm Jeremy. Nice to meet you. Now, I'll be honest with you, the trailers for Black Panther look interesting, but I'm never like, I need to see it right now today. But everything about Black Panther is what I'm looking forward to. If someone had come up to me and just given me the information, hey, there's a movie coming out starring Michael B. Jordan, Chadwick Boseman, Lupita Nyong'o, and is directed by Ryan Coogler, I'd be like, I'm in. Like, I'm absolutely in. The fact that it takes place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe just happens to be a wheelhouse I enjoy. That's just icing on the cake. There's a lot you can do with this. I'm kind of concerned at the fact that Marvel seems to be going the more comedic route these days. I feel like Ant-Man and the Wasp lends itself to that more than Black Panther or, say, Avengers Infinity War. But I'm looking forward to Black Panther. Not just looking forward to Black Panther, I am rooting for Black Panther. Speaking of Avengers Infinity War, let's just roll right into the next MCU movie I'm looking forward to. That is Avengers Infinity War. Avengers Infinity War, I feel like is going to be a more straightforward approach. Doom himself, not Dr. Doom, but like the epitome of Doom, the apocalypse, not apocalypse, but well, you know what I mean, whatever. Thanos has come to Earth, so it looks like the culmination of the previous decade of MCU movies. It's all leading to this. This is how you can have your team be divided after Captain America's Civil War and then come back together to fight the common threat. Directed by the Russos, who did Captain America Winter Soldier and Civil War, they've been crushing it. If I have one critique about those Russo MCU movies, there's a bit more shaky cam in the action sequences than I generally tend to like, but it doesn't detract from the movies as a whole. If there was a team I would like to direct Avengers Infinity War, it would be the Russos. They are. Looking forward to this. Next up is Deadpool 2. Why? Because Deadpool 1 was so good and so surprising. So if I wasn't looking forward to Deadpool 2, for me, that would be a bit strange. They made good on a promise they made in the post-credit scene of Deadpool 1. Deadpool was like, oh, by the way, we're having Cable come in the next one. And for some odd reason, there was never any doubt in anyone's mind that he was telling the truth, and now Cable is in this one. And he's played by Josh Brolin, who is also Thanos, who is in Avengers Infinity War. Basically, Josh Brolin has taken up 1/5 of my anticipated list of 2018. I hope Deadpool 2 doesn't have a case of sequel-itis where they try to catch lightning in a bottle the second time and they basically hang over to it. We'll see what happens, but for now, Deadpool 2, definitely looking forward to it. Also coming up, The Incredibles 2. We got one brief-ass teaser trailer. I don't really know much about this movie, but what I do know is a Fantastic Four movie cannot be made to save anyone's ass. But it happened. It's called The Incredibles. I'd like to see a sequel to that. Cars has gotten 2 sequels. It's long overdue that The Incredibles gets 1. The Incredibles is one of my favorite Pixar movies. It is the textbook case of a movie being sold solely on its name. It's an incredible sequel. I'm completely there. Next up is Venom. Me, big Spider-Man fan. Also me, big 90s Spider-Man fan, which means me, yes, Venom fan. I love Venom. What's more important is Venom was horribly done in Spider-Man 3. There was this, Comic-Con art where it was just Venom's face that says, "We are Venom" or something like that. That told me nothing about the movie except the fact he said "we," and that got me excited. Because when Topher Grace said I was like, not my Venom. There's no Spider-Man. I've always professed that changes Venom's character a bit for this because he doesn't have that opposite. I feel like there's a solid Venom mulligan that they're doing, so I am certainly interested. Next up, more comic book madness. What did you think my list was gonna be? Seriously, don't fool yourself. X-Men The Dark Phoenix, because we haven't seen the Dark Phoenix on screen, not really. X-Men 1 and 2 were building to it. Dark Phoenix didn't get the representation it should have gotten. Then after X-Men Apocalypse, we know it's going there, and then Bryan Singer, I guess, is not doing the movie, so we were kind of questioning it for a bit, but we're getting Dark Phoenix. I can tell you this, if this movie movie sucks, leave us with New Mutants and we'll go on with that. Next up is the sequel to a surprise from a couple years ago. We got Creed 2 coming. Now, I don't have my ear to the ground on the inner workings of what's coming out in movie lore. I just know Creed 2 is happening. From what I understand, it's going to deal with Drago's son. So Creed's son is going to take on the son of the guy who killed his father. So we could have a really good Sins of the Father thing, though he'll probably want to rage out on this dude. This dude actually didn't have anything to do with the death of his father. And there's a lot they can do. There's a lot of character in here. Possibility of character anyway. That's the thing of anything on this list. What I see are the possibilities. All right, no video game movies on this list because I've lost faith in all of them. Wreck-It Ralph is not a video game movie. Neither is the sequel, Ralph Breaks the Internet. It's a great movie that uses video game properties as the icing on the cake, but the cake of Wreck-It Ralph is good. And I am looking forward to this one, folks. Again, no trailer whatsoever. I hope a trailer doesn't come out between me filming this video and me uploading it. But with the success of Wreck-It Ralph, I see the possibilities of a lot more video game companies going, yeah, you can use our property. Hopefully they can work out a lot of deals, but they don't have to make some of the characters look kind of like some of the licensed video game characters, but it's not really the licensed video game characters. Hopefully we can have more licensed video game characters. That'd be a lot of fun. But we'll see what happens. But for now, I have given you 10 movies I'm looking forward to in 2018. Funny thing is, if this year is anything like last year, my favorites of the year are going to be things that weren't even on my radar. Don't know a lot about what's coming, but what is certain is there are going to be a lot of surprises. But first, sponsorship! Again, this video is brought to you by Audible. Follow the link below in the description to audible.com/Johns. Get yourself a 30-day free trial of Audible. Browse the largest audiobook library in the known galaxy. And since Ready Player One's coming out, you can do Ready Player One on Audible. And at that point, you can listen to the audiobook, be in on the know. Then when you watch the movie, you can kind of judge what was accurate, what wasn't, what properties they had over here, what properties they didn't have over here, what properties were swapped out. You get to judge, and this is the internet. We're here to judge. All right, so your 10 anticipated movies for 2018. Whatever they are, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.